There are two distinct advantages to rendering your After Effects project using Adobe Media Encoder. The first one is the fact that Media Encoder contains a ton of different presets. So if you need to save a file for a portable device or a specific social network, there's a preset for that. The second is the fact that it actually moves rendering out away from your After Effects project into Media Encoder. So if you're really busy, you can save a version of your project, send that to Media Encoder, and then go back to After Effects and keep working. Now I have a composition I want to render using Media Encoder Q, so let's start by going to the timeline, and I'll press the Home key on my keyboard to move my current time indicator back to the beginning of the timeline, and then I'll press the space bar to preview the animation. The animation looks good, so I'll press the space bar to stop playback. In order to send this to Media Encoder, all we need to do is go up under the Composition menu and choose Add to Adobe Media Encoder Q. Now it may take a second to launch, but once it launches, go to the upper right corner of the interface where it says Q. You'll see your After Effects project with the name of the composition that you just sent. This area is divided up into 3 columns: Format, Presets based on that format, and then the output file, which would be the file name itself. So I'll click on the output file name, and I'll just call this Town, and it's automatically going to create a folder next to your After Effects project file to save your renders in. I'll leave that all set. I'll just name it Town and click Save. Let's click on the Format dropdown. You can choose whatever format file you like. I'm actually going to leave H.264 set up. Then under the preset based on H.264, I have a whole host of presets I can choose from. Let's say I want to render to YouTube 720p. There we go. Now go back up and click on the words Multiple Renders, which is the name of your composition. Once you do that, the second button in the queue will become active. This will allow you to add another output for this individual file. Now rather than going through the drop-downs to set the compression for this file, I'm going to go down here under the preset browser, and I'll click in the search area and start typing BLU because I'd like to make a compression for a Blu-ray disc. So here I'll choose HD 720 5994, and I'll drag that and drop it right on the second entry here, and when I let go, now I've got a Blu-ray render that's rendering. I still need to name the file, so I'll click here under Output File, and I'll just call this town_02 and click Save. Now we're ready to render. As soon as we click this green button, I want you to look in the bottom area here in the encoding panel, because it's going to go fast. That's giving me 2 previews, one for each of my different outputs. So now if I navigate to my Windows File Explorer, there's my Create Multiple Renders folder, and if you open that, inside of here, there's my Town render, and there's my Town 02 render. To preview any of these, just double-click. So whether you're trying to create a specific file format, or just work more efficiently and render as you work, Adobe Media Encoder is the perfect tool to integrate into your daily workflow.